or whatever. And to be honest, the world does not need jetpacks, right? The world survived perfectly okay for millions of years without jetpacks. Humans have been around for hundreds of thousands of years without jetpacks. We do not need jetpacks. Oh, you're a woman, so I'll explain it to you. Okay, you don't understand this, right? Donald Trump made this an okay thing to say. Thank you, Donald. But they always wanted to fly, so I always wanted to fly, and this is, a famous lithograph of Icarus and Daedalus. If you don't know who they are, you went to the wrong school. The only mistake I made was allowing investors in who weren't as passionate about the product as I was, which I think was a bad thing, but that's, we all know. The vision is not that I'm going to be Richard Branson windsurfing across Necker Island with a girl that's young enough to be my granddaughter naked on my back. Now that's a good vision, and that sounds like a lot of fun, especially to a grey-haired old guy like me. And now Donald Trump's in power, I know that it's not only is it a good vision, it's legal and perfectly okay. For me, and thank God for Cecilia saying fuck. I'd like to thank her for that. So I can then, be a little bit, we're all adults in the room, and as my wife says, and I think all women say, no matter how good it is, 26 seconds isn't long enough, right? So, and this is what I call, thanks to Cecilia, I can say that's the what the fuck page. We went to the pub, we got drunk, and over the next week, what the fuck, what the fuck are we going to do? And if it doesn't, why the fuck are you doing it, right? Because there's fuck no. So I call, right, and you've got to actually be honest with people, I think, and then keep your integrity intact. Otherwise, you end up in this, can we say clusterfuck? I don't know, of stuff going on. So cut out the bullshit, but whatever you do, don't believe your own bullshit, right? So I, told the corporate bullshit. I was doing some stuff in China and I was getting into trouble, and I was going, how do I deal with China? I don't know. God, who knows about dealing with business in China? We used to have board meetings, and we'd have directors who would fly in and they'd go, oh, I saw this thing on an online article about this guy who's developing a jetpack and it's going to be way, way better than ours. I'm really worried about it. And you go, yeah, whatever. When to do it? Well, there's two times, taking the aviation analogy. During the Second World War, the American 8th Air Force were getting knocked out of the sky over Germany in their B-17s at a huge rate. They were losing hundreds of people every day. They didn't have a long-range fighter to defend them. They needed one right now, and they built it in 149 days, from concept to first flying, the P-51 Mustang. Now, they're in no war, and they're building the F-35. There is no rush. So far they've spent 1.1 trillion in, 15 years, and it's still not flying properly, right? So you're either in a pre-crisis or a pre-crisis to me. So the right time to innovate is now. Why? Because if you're not doing it, your competitors are doing it anyway. It's like Cecilia's saying, they disrupted their own business. Now they could have sat back and said, oh, we'll just grow and grow and grow and grow. And then somebody else is going to come in and go, there's a market out there that my food bag isn't satisfying. There's a lower value market, a mass market, whatever you want to describe it as, and they would have taken away their lunch, literally, out of their business. So, there's always a crisis coming, so do it now. Who are we to think that we know what we're doing? We don't know what we're doing. I'm doing it all over again, and we've got a few other tricks to do with so that can't happen. So if you want to talk later on about it, some legal tricks around that. The only competitor the Martin Aircraft Company has to worry about is that on the 22nd of September next year, my restraint of trade comes off. So they should be worried about that. But anyway. And as I say, we're very honest, and people like doing business here. You're not doing it in another language. You're doing it in English, even though it's our English. And it's a very pleasant experience for people to do business here, and they usually end up with a very good outcome.
Hi, I'm Faye Desmoichant from Social Skills, here with you to talk about how to stop cursing. This is a really difficult one for so many people because cursing has become so ingrained in our language, but it's really important to stop because cursing gives off a really bad first impression, particularly when you're meeting someone. So first things first, you need to figure out a way to understand and recognize how often you are cursing. So what I like to suggest is, with a friend or a loved one, is having a conversation and asking them to either buzz or clap or do something to help you identify just how often you are cursing. So that's going to help you understand just how often you are cursing, and so many times people aren't aware of the number of times that they're cursing. The other thing is that you can come up with a few words to replace those ill-fated words that you're using so often. So for example, for the F word, you might use another F word that's a little bit softer and not a curse as a replacement for the time being. Come up with a few words that you can use in place of curses, and that's going to help you get started. Another idea is to tape yourself, and tape yourself talking about something that you feel really passionately against, for example, because that's most often when people are using curse words. So think of a topic that really drives you crazy, or something that you're really angry about, or something that you have strong feelings against, and set up a camera and tape yourself talking about that topic for at least a minute. A couple of replacement words that I use in my everyday language are sugar, fudge, holy crud, and things of that nature. It just helps remove those words from your everyday language. So you can come up with your own creative words to use as replacements until you can start eradicating these words from your everyday language.